Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mess episode 6. Today we have special guests from the UK, our neighbors, kind of more neighbors of Yorick than of
My
myself.
neighbors.
And it's Laurie and Max from Perfect Strangers. Welcome.
All right, thank you for having us.
Great to welcome to the show. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yay!
My pleasure.
Also the first guys out of the community as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
What an honor.
Yeah, like,
Mm.
that is true.
First, not Canadian, non-Canadian.
First, not
True.
Canadian.
Non-Canadian band or member.
Finally, people out of North America. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show. You guys have a new single coming out. By the time this drops, it's already out, and I hope everyone's still streaming it or whatever. But
Yeah.
when we're recording this, it's not out yet. It's coming out next Thursday. Called Be Someone. You guys hyped for the release?
I can't tell you how hyped I am. I mean, this song essentially defines our sound. I think it defines our band and our the future of our sound. And
Definitely, it's the first song where we're releasing it knowing that it's exactly how we wanted it to sound. Like, because obviously, for the most part, self-produced, and then we had some help with mastering. But so that's given us like way more control over kind of how it sounds, because we've just been able to. I'll be like, I'll do a bit and send it to Max, and then he'll be like, yeah, that sounds cool. What about this? And so, yeah, it's just exactly how we've wanted to sound since the band started. But now, because of the facilities and, well, after doing a year of music production at uni, we can now make it sound how we want it to sound. So yeah, the hype for this one is definitely the highest it's been.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to the bits that you've put in your Instagram posts, and it's loud and it's gritty, and I can't tell you how excited I personally am, because every song you've made thus far is already like it's gone on my playlist immediately, and I played the fuck out of it. But yeah, this definitely just sounds more professional and just way more refined and whatever. So
I mean, it's exciting as well for us, because this then is just a taste of what we have to offer, because it's like we've got this song, and then obviously we've got our EP planned for sometime in the future, and it's like that will have the same sound, same energy, like throughout all the songs, and we're going to re-record the old ones as well and chuck them on there. And it's like
we are re-recording the old ones,
because
while we love them, they can be so much more than what they are at the moment. And
because you found your sound now.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
and we're not we I don't want to say we rushed it to start with.
No, but I feel like, given how most bands, kind of small bands, start off by gigging and then build an audience and then release songs after that, but because we finished writing our first song about 3 weeks before lockdown hit, we kind of felt like we had to make a move now, and because gigs weren't an option, we had to release a song, which is what Sweet Little Devil was. We wrote it, and we were just like, well, let's get it recorded. I had a friend who knows, well, back then I had no production experience, and I had a friend who did, so I sent it to him and he did a rough mix, and then we literally used SoundCloud mastering to master it, and we were just like, let's just see what happens.
So you kind of pressured yourself to get it out there.
Yeah, we wanted to be heard, I think.
We did, and we were just kind of, we'd been talking about it for, like, I always say the Perfect Strangers UK Instagram account was actually created in like 2014, 2015, and it just sat there, just because that's when we first had the idea, and it wasn't until 2020 we were like,
to be honest as well, like I think we certainly were heard a lot, like much more than we were expecting.
Like we started by putting it on SoundCloud, remember, and then we got like 300 streams in 2 weeks, which is,
and it's like even now it may not seem like a lot of streams on Spotify, but it's like we've got your guys' attention. We're here, so like,
Yeah,
you know, that's a big thing for us. We got like this small, you know, close knit group of following and friends, and we're sort of in on a community, and that is, you know, more than we ever could have dreamed of getting from releasing that first initial like 2 songs. And it's really cool for us, I think, to have that as a basis before we start gigging and playing live and going further with it. So
yeah, it's been definitely a different approach to how we thought we were going to put Perfect Strangers on the map, but kind of through everything and through everyone adjusting to this new way of life we've had to, I think we've kind of been able to use it to our advantage, because obviously in kind of everything that's going on, music has taken a big hit. So for us to be able to say like, well, actually, here's something like totally brand new, I think it definitely kind of helped. And yeah, as Max said, having the community and kind of friends within that has definitely helped us gain a wider audience than we thought we were going to in our first year or so of being active as a band. And it hasn't even been a year. It's been since we released on even SoundCloud was only 10 months ago. Spotify was 9 months ago. And literally we, in 4 days, are releasing a self-written, self-recorded, self-mixed single mastered by the front man of a band who serves as some of our biggest inspiration. And like that's happened in less than a year, and it's just insane.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I love all of the community stuff and what happens in there, like that everyone is so supportive about everything, like Chick and Steve and all of the people in the community as well. Yeah, that's what makes all of this so lovable, and I'm so happy we can push it further and help you guys out, help everyone else out. And yeah, I love it. I love that.
It's just really good that there's bands like, you know, because our community is already a community based on 3 bands, and to have like bands interwoven into the community itself is like such a cool thing. Like in the Discord server, you know, you have the boys from Deep Six, and you have the guys from you have the guys from Hometown and Young, and you have you guys, you have Rollover White from some other dudes in the Discord. You just have so many small bands who are so interwoven into the community and just find the community as their own community as well, and that people embrace that as well.
I think it's awesome.
It's just one of the coolest things that we as a community can do, you know, just help people out and just support new bands. And you know, it's something that when we started this podcast, is also something that we really wanted to do, you know, just bring light to bands that we love personally, and bands that are just, you know, in our opinion, just, you know, deserve more of a spotlight, and bands that are just, you know, that are catching our attention, and both within the community and outside of it. And you guys are just so interwoven into, you know, everything that is happening in the community. And it's just so, and it's just great to have you guys on, and to, you know, have you guys talk about what drives you and whatever. So
the New Rock Mafia has definitely been like such a huge platform, and a huge source of inspiration as well, just like from all of the guys. And I mean, tell me when I started listening to Cleo, like way back when, I don't even remember that it would get to a point where like the bands that they were friends with were like going to be giving us tips, and like I was going to get like these lovely messages from the front man of Ready the Prince, just being like, keep on going, like you remind me of me. And I'm just like, but look at where you are now. He's like, yeah, you could be there too. I'm like, wow, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. Definitely really, for me personally anyway, provided.
I'm with you. And I think it's I can see it being like a huge thing. Like I know it already is a massive thing to so many people, like you guys, like us, it already is a huge thing. But in the grand scheme of rock music, I can see it being massive. And it's like to be a part of that, no matter how like small, I think is awesome. Like it is so cool. And so we're
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
thankful for the community and you guys and everyone, you know, sticking with us and whatever. So
I do think it's really paving the way for rock music at the moment, because I mean, it definitely, rock back in the day used to be like the genre, like is what everyone was to. And you know, recently it's just been it's not such a thing anymore. Like rock
Yeah.
music definitely got smaller, but you look at bands like Cleo, who are like selling out all these shows, and they're like on billboards all over the place, and they're kind of almost reigniting and paving the way. And it's definitely helped to be able to look at another band, which is, you know, just two mates, and to see the success they've had is just kind of nuts, because it's like rock music is not dead. Like, it's still here, and it's better arguably than it ever has been.
Yeah, because you know, it's the state of rock music right now is it's really having like a renaissance situation, that it's still like really just being like literally just a rebirth of whatever everything was, but in just in my opinion, also like a better way than it was. I'm just, yeah, you know, it's just like starting a band in COVID is such a ballsy move in my opinion, because that's such a, you're so limited to your, you know, your reach, I guess. Like, you know, you can't gig around your hometown and whatever, you know, what every band used to do. You know, just your reach is so limited to everything that's, you know, your actual connection. So you guys, you know, have like the connection with New Rock Mafia, and then it, you know, spreads from there. And that's such a unique way of starting a band and getting traction, is from just purely because, have you guys ever played a, you know, actually played a gig? No, exactly. That's so.
We just booked one as well that's now sold out.
Yeah,
today.
I saw the London gig. Yeah. So it's so weird that you're just, you know, Sweet Little Devil just now has 1,600 listens on Spotify, which for a band that's never played a gig is so just unfathomably insane. That it's, yeah, I just, all, you know, hats off to you guys for actually like thinking, okay, we're 3 weeks before lockdown, we need to, you know, push something out now, and then actually going through with it and actually like,
the thing is, it was actually recorded in lockdown, so we finished writing it, but not the lyrics weren't down. And lockdown hit, and I think it was those few months, and literally if you grabbed one of mine and Max's phones and went into our WhatsApp conversation and then pressed media, it's just like hours worth of 30-second snippets of like, what do you think of this idea? And then I think it was at the end of like, because here in the UK we've had 3 lockdowns. At the end of lockdown 1, we were like, right, I have this kind of super basic recording equipment. Like,
went in Laurie's living room, jammed it out a few times.
So then we jammed it in my lounge. And then literally I was like, right, I've moved my drum kit out to this shed in the garden, which I've insulated. I have some really basic mics. Let's just bang out and put it on SoundCloud. And I had no recording experience. I had a fraction of the knowledge I now have when it comes to like recording music. I was just like, yeah, Max, we're not going to record your amp. We're going to record you DI. And then I was like, but we're going to put pedals on it, which by the way is not a thing that you should do. But we did, and I had like four microphones for my drum kit, and I was just like, got my GarageBand open, and I was like, right, let's record it in. Recorded it into GarageBand, and I listened back to the original stems now, and I kind of cringe, because it's like, I don't know how the guy we sent it off to, who's friend Benji, I don't know how he made it sound how it sounded. Like, if someone sent me those, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay.
But I think the whole you know, the whole experience of that is, I just think that's sort of what we stand for, like that, because that's Perfect Strangers is that's what we are. We are completely new to this. We're complete strangers to what we're doing. We've never done anything like this before. So when we were doing it, and when we were creating our first like debut song, it makes sense to have done it like in that way and in that unnatural, do it completely wrong,
So
obviously, and like
wrong. Like
but
that is
Yeah.
the word to describe how we did it. It was not the right way. It's not the done thing, but we did it weirdly, and it kind of
Yeah, I
got.
mean, we talked to Jig about that the last time, that just like as far as recording is concerned, and like the whole music making process, there's not really a wrong way to do it. There's like, because there's like there's the way that's the music industry says like this is the way to make music, but that's not, it's not like a set in stone. If you don't do it like this, it's not, because uh Sweet Little Devil literally just, it has 1600, it has been listened to 1600 times, so it means that people do enjoy it, even though it got recorded into GarageBand just straight into your DI.
I'm
And
literally, the shed is like, it's this house I'm in now is where we recorded it. Like
is
it's
the
just outside.
studio. Yeah, I mean,
It's just outside in the
yeah.
garden. It's nuts.
So that's like, that whole thing of that, that's DIY through and through. That's literally just everything done yourself without actually having a studio. And to still have it sound like an actually produced song. It's just, yeah, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And I still listen to Sweet Little Devil a lot, and it's just, it's just really cool what you guys are doing and how you're doing it, and just to see, to see you guys and hear you guys grow, like, with experiences. It's so cool. And yeah.
I think that's I think we're excited about that as well,
Yeah.
because we've been playing with, will those original 2 tracks be around forever? Like, will they stay on our Spotify when we've released the EP? Will we take them off because we've got a new sound, better sound? Like, and it's cool to have that original group of people who have really thoroughly enjoyed them songs, and then seeing the entire new like version and the complete step up and change and the growth with us. I think it is dope. Like, yeah, I just think that's awesome.
Yeah, and the thing is while I do love the fact that we managed to, in a global pandemic, quite badly record that song in my garage, I think we have now, obviously Be Someone was recorded, well, the drums were recorded in a studio, and Max's guitar we recorded dry, so we didn't record any amps, we didn't put any pedals on it. I just took his guitar signal, and then I went into the studio and reamped it and re-recorded it in, so it kind of, it's just a little box which simulates a guitar signal. So and re-recorded it, because the studio I use is through my uni, and up until tomorrow no one's been allowed in it, so I've had to kind of do that. I would definitely say that, yeah, I have massive respect, and I think that the fact that we managed to get those 2 singles out, recorded out that shed, was great. But I don't think we'll go back, because this one, studio engineered, the sound is just like levels higher than the sound on those first 2 singles is. And I really can't wait to hear the re-recorded version of those 2 singles, because I think the difference between the 2 of them is just gonna probably blow us away as well.
I feel like actually like having a listening to a re-recorded version in your new style of a song that you released in your shed is like more of a like mind-blowing experience than actually just recording a new song with your new sound. I feel like hearing the 2, you're like hearing Sweet Little Devil like side by side, the re-recorded version and the actually original that, I feel like that's gonna be like the moment where everyone's like, yeah, this is it,
Yeah, and then if you want to blow your mind even more, throw the remix in there as well, and it's just, what am I listening to?
3 drastically different versions. Yeah. Oh, I'm just, seeing you guys grow is just so cool to see. And I can't wait to see where you guys go from here personally, because you're at such a, this is like the moment, finding your sound and releasing your first EP, and everything like that is just such a pivotal moment for every for every band. So I can't wait to see how everything goes,
Yeah,
and I'll be here
we've
for it.
definitely got we've got big plans. We've got a lot we want to do, and I've definitely got a lot that I want to try in terms of kind of weirder production techniques, because if there's one thing I've learned, although I'm learning at uni kind of how the industry does
Yeah.
it, another thing I've learned is that if it sounds good, it sounds good. Like when I was mixing like when I was like, I want this new song to have a bass line, but because we're a guitar and drums band, Max was like, I want to play it on a bass, I want to play it on the guitar. So then that presented the challenge of, right, so how am I going to get that like fat bassy sound from Max's guitar, and just kind of finding ways around that, and then figuring out how we're then still going to pull that off live has just been really cool as well. So while we've now kind of got the industry standard studios and tools, we're still defining our own sound rather than letting what I'm being taught by these industry professionals define it for us, if that makes sense.
As well, what adds to that is, Laura, you now have all this experience and you're in the know and you know what you're doing. And I'm on the other side, I'm doing acting at college, and I'm like, I have no idea about music production and whatever, and I'm like, no, we can't do that, we've got to do it like this, and which makes no sense. But he's like, all right, let's do it then, and then we just go with it. And
I'm like, because I like it because I feel like having loads of experience can force you to conform to the things you know are going to work. I started music production because I wanted to know how to make it sound a bit more professional, and to get access to these facilities. But in a way, I'm glad that Max is still just like thinking with how he wants it to sound, instead of like, if I'm like, I want to get this sound, so I might put some saturation on it and then send it to a bus with and all this like tech stuff. Max is like, why don't we just do this? And I'm like, yeah, okay, try it, because that's the thing is trying new stuff, and if you might stumble across a sound you really like, and although all the people are like, well, that will never work, you've got to do this. If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Experimentation, that's just
that's what we're going to release, because the way we write music is we write what we want to hear rather than what we think.
If you don't like your own music, then what's the point?
Exactly. We've got a folder full of songs we don't like that we've written.
I feel like that's every
band though.
Band, yeah, just demos that will stay demos forever.
I made the mistake of playing like a rough version to Alishba, you know who she is, but every time I talk about the EP, she's like, yeah, is that song going to be on it? And I'm like, no, it will never.
It will never be anywhere.
Anywhere, ever. But they're just learning curves essentially. And if Max sends me this guitar and I write drums to it, and then we scrap the song, we'll come up with a new song which we do like, but I'll take drums from the one because it's that song inspired a certain drum pattern which I think works in this one. So yeah, they're all important, but they just don't sound great. So
yeah. I mean, I'm also writing music. I say this every episode because it's just something that I'm busy with recently. I'm also writing music. I'm also like, I have someone who has a studio which I can go to. So I'm like actually like in the process of maybe making EPs somewhere this year. That's like the plan. But I also have I have 4 songs which I'm sure of that I can actually like go through with, but the rest is like songs that I'm either like came up with when I was drunk and at my room, because I live like in student housing. And I like every Thursday we drink a lot, and then I always, for some reason, like at 2 a.m. when I'm back at my room, just grab a guitar and start doing shit. And I have like a notebook with like where I write down chords and tabs and lyrics and stuff. And then I wake up the morning after and I find a recording on my phone of me trying to play it drunk at 3 a.m. And I just look into that notebook and I'm like, I'm not gonna. I'm probably never going to release that. But it's my phone is full of drunken me trying to play a song on a guitar.
Oh, bro, that's your EP title.
Drunken me trying to play a song.
Drunken me trying to play guitar at 3 a.m.
To every...
So it's probably good that Yorick won't join us on the UK gigs.
Hey, look. Hold on now. I'm also going to go to 4 festivals, so like, yeah. But I wanted to go to the UK tour, but then I also had like
London shows is.
I'm so ready for it.
London
oh my gosh.
Are like no other shows in the UK in anywhere. I've been to Birmingham shows. I've been to.
It's just London, isn't
actually,
it?
the only shows I
there's
have
something
been,
special about it.
It's just the best. I mean, and I live there now, and I see it every day. Like I'll wake up in the morning, I'll go on a walk, and I'll walk past where me and Max saw Counterfeit, and I'll remember that night. And then I'll walk past where I saw Cleopatra, and I'll remember that night.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. It's just, I don't know. And the shows there are just at next level. Like Mads, you went to Bristol. You went to Bristol, Cleo, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it looked like a good show. And Thekla is a sick venue. It's on a boat. I mean, that's so cool. But
it was really special.
The London show was something else. I had many interesting experiences at that show. A lot of them were quite painful, and one of them involved being shoved off stage quite embarrassingly. But still, it was a mental show, and that's why we're so excited for July now, because we are going to bring a lot of energy to that and hopefully have our first of many mental London gigs.
That would be, your first gig after releasing like multiple songs and, actually like having been around for such a long time. That's such a position that not all the people are in. That's, it's just so much, so cool. And I wish I could have gone to the UK shows, but
how I'm going to react. Because like the only people who have heard the songs we plan on playing are me and Max. And obviously, when we're playing a song and I look at Max is loving it and I'm loving it, but that's because there are songs.
Yeah, they're like your children. It's like other people might hate children and hate your children, but they're your children. You will never hate them. Yeah.
I hate most of them.
I also hate children, but yeah. It's it's maybe a bit of a shitty metaphor, but it's you never hate your own children.
Music, isn't it?
Yeah. So I wish I could have gone to the UK shows, but I also already spent 1,400 euros on concerts this year, or on festivals this year. So I decided against it.
Thanks, Laurie.
Yeah, I have.
That's not even half of it. What I'm gonna spend for all the 4 gigs plus plane tickets plus train tickets.
Yeah, and I'm spending so much more. It's a problem because it's 4 festivals and like 6 concerts. I bought them all during COVID, so that's all concerts and festivals I knew I couldn't go to in the first dates that they announced, because all 3 out of 4 of my festivals have been delayed to next year. So I'm just gonna have a lot of fun next year, which is
I was wary because I saw a lot of festivals and I saw a lot of concerts, and I said to myself, no, they're not going to be on. But when I saw Bring Me the Horizon in September and Royal Blood in 2022 and Cleo in November, I was like, now is the time to open my wallet.
I feel like I feel like this is we're on the we're near the end. That's for sure. We're near the end of whatever happening for all, especially in the UK right now. Things are looking good where you guys are.
Yeah,
things are looking very positive.
I think everyone's gonna go crazy. Like
we're not there yet at all. We are like, I think 3.5% of people are fully vaccinated here, so we're just still.
Really?
Yeah, the Netherlands is very bad at buying vaccines apparently, because we don't really have a lot of it. So we we're still behind. We're still at like, I think we're at 60 plus right now, people, and like everyone
We're at
with
like what is it, 42 plus.
yeah,
Mm.
we're at 60. So and we have and like everyone with like underlying conditions, so like asthma and whatever, they can all also get vaccinated now, but that's like 3.5% still, so that's literally nothing. So we're
And just
just, you know,
nuts.
we're just still vibing. Yeah.
3 weeks we were told back in March last year.
Yeah.
3 weeks. Me and Max were like, that Sweet Little Devil song's a banger. We'll record it. We'll book a studio in March. And then the lockdown came and we were like, all right, maybe April. And then Max will actually be coming to an actual studio for the first time since this band was formed this Thursday.
Thursday, release day of Be Someone.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting together for the first time in ages, and we cannot wait.
We're not jamming in my shed with my old secondhand drum kit from a Beatles tribute band.
Yeah.
Hello. We are in the biggest studio my uni has to offer, and obviously me being a uni student, I can't book it for, you know, loads of time because there are other students. But Daniel Hunter Reith, who did the remix and has also been recording engineer drums on all the songs in the EP. By the way, all the drums are tracked, so you know, moves being made. He booked out the slot right after me and said I could have it. So this Thursday, when Be Someone drops, me and Max will be in the studio at 10 a.m. and we will not be leaving until 10 p.m. Basically, the plan is to record as much of the EP as we can.
Yeah.
Obviously, taking into consideration Max's vocal cords and fingers. And then
We'll find that. That's my vocal cords. Don't worry about.
Yeah, the songs they're great, but I think for Max's throat, honestly. But yeah, then it's gonna be we've got practice our gig set, get that down because we've got half an hour to fill. And then we're probably gonna jam some of these new ones we've been working on, which are actually post EP. Because the thing is because we haven't been able to get in the studio, we've just been writing more.
Yeah.
So we've already got kind of new singles for after the EP releases in the works already. We don't know whether we're gonna do a second EP or whether we're gonna go straight for the album.
That's
but
insane.
we've got songs for after the EP already
That's
in the
so
works,
cool.
so it's gonna be fun to jam those.
Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, we could move on to the playlist now, because I think we've said everything we can say about the new release and the EP and whatever. But Mads is probably still removing her son from the room, I think. So I feel like we can start with the bottom half of the playlist and then do the top half when Mads is fully back and ready to actually, like, you know, bring something in the conversation again. So oh wait, no, I see someone. There we go. We can just start from the top.
Back.
We'll just wait until Mads is Mads, hi. We were waiting for you. We decided to start with the playlist.
Wait. Wait.
Okay, we'll start with the bottom half of the playlist. Oh, yeah, that's Mads. We saw Mads' son on screen just now.
Shout out, Mats.
Yeah, hell yeah, Mads. Let's just start with the bottom half of the playlist, because, you know, we can move on and whatever. So the first song that I was gonna do was Bath Salts by Highly Suspect. So Highly Suspect, you know, a bit of a controversial band at this point because MCID. What's your opinion on MCID?
There's a few really good songs, and, you know, I appreciate that. Maybe not the band. I don't think the band have been trying to reach out. I think Johnny has been trying to reach out and expand his horizons and not really considered his band.
But But I feel like Highly Suspect, when you see them live, it is kind of the Johnny show.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
that
and-
is true.
This child.
We've started at the bottom half of the playlist. We're talking about Highly Suspect now.
Okay,
CID
good.
and Johnny.
I do think that there are just going to be bands like there's always going to be bands like you know Queen. It was all about
Right.
Freddie Mercury.
Queen was
wasn't
the
it?
Freddie Mercury show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like for Highly Suspect is the same as the Johnny show. And
Bro, Perfect Strangers is just a Max show. He doesn't shut up, man.
no. It's the
I'm joking.
opposite, man. It's the
It's
opposite.
It's all about quality.
But yeah, I think it's he tried. He tried to change his sound and experiment with what he wanted to experiment with. And I appreciate him having the bollocks to do that, but I don't think it went well for him. And
No,
Because it goes well for some people. Like Royal Blood are a perfect example of where
really, yeah, it's like
they've branched
holy
out, they've experimented with a new sound, and they have, without a shadow of a doubt, pulled it off. Like Typhoons is insane.
shit. I think it's
I do
my
think
album
as
of
well,
the year
though.
at this point.
I
Like
do think-
there's so many albums that have come out this year already that are like contenders, like the Dead Poets Society album. I really liked the Blue Stones album.
I just know
Nightmare Band.
Bummer's going to be the album of the year.
I
for
feel
me.
like
don't
Bummer is
think
going to be album of the year because there's so many elements in there that we still haven't heard. Like if you watch the behind the scenes videos, you have like there's a part in like the after credits scene, which is a choir. Like everyone's singing in like a big room as a choir. So there's like gonna be choirs and whatever. And I just can't wait for Bummer to drop. Yeah, holy shit. But yeah, back to bath salts.
Yeah,
yeah.
We went on a Highly Suspect tangent and we haven't even talked about bath salts. So why bath salts specifically?
I just think the bond we share over that song is like it's kind of mad. Like, you know,
Mad.
I stumbled across Highly Suspect years ago now, and Bath Salts I think was my top song on Spotify for like 2 years running. And I was in love with that song. And obviously once I found Highly Suspect, I straight away was like, Laurie, check these guys out like right now. And we both fell in love.
And I unplugged 21 Pilots from my ears and I went, what? Oh, what? I know. And then, yeah, so I then listened to Bath Salts and I went through a phase where, and I literally, I can't even lie about it. I listened to Bath Salts and only Bath Salts all day, every day for a month. And since I have this little thing, it's called Skyly, and it basically has access to all my Spotify stats. And to this day, if I go on top tracks of all time since I opened my Spotify account in 2014, Bath Salts is still number one. And it is all down to Max because he showed me that song, and I think, yeah, and you know,
I think it's just
a
you
great
know, we
song.
were talking about earlier the sound of rock these days and
Yeah.
you know how it is. And when I first found Highly Suspect and I found Bath Salts, that for me was like, this is rock reborn. Like this is this modern day sound of rock that I want and I love listening to. And yeah, I think you know I had to show Laurie, and we both fucking loved it, and we both you know shared it and relished in the sound together, and it was amazing. So
It really
And Max
is.
with Johnny impersonation. Max is Johnny. Like when we play that song, or is it when we play Lydia? When we do that cover, there's this performance of them at Reading, and Max just kills it every time.
he's a funny man.
He's a funny man, but Max is also a funny man. He's a comedian.
Yeah, you know, Terrible Johnny. Let's also not talk about his rapping because
Or his TikToks.
oh my god. Or his
his
tweets or you know anything outside of what he
Great,
does.
great musician though.
Great musician.
Yeah, they're all
From half
they're
of
all
MCI.
yeah. They're so
MCID
talented.
definitely had Upper Drugs, and I think for us, Upper Drugs was basically Bath Salts 2.0. Because I think it was like just over a year on from when I'd gone through that phase.
And this was before the rest of MCID was released as well.
Right, yeah. So
So
like
it was
out of
16 and
Albert,
Epic.
Yeah, like the singles
And
out of album context, I really liked them. Like 16,
yeah,
I really liked, and
if Upper Drugs was this Upper Drugs was the sound of MCID, like it had me so gassed for it. I was
yeah,
like, this is the sound, this is incredible.
yeah,
But that was the next song where at the time me and Matt were working together at the Howl, which is a screen park, which we a lot of good times. But I think he played it to me on the second night of the Howl, and then we listened to it on the way, along with Boilermaker live at Reading. Every time we were on our way to the Howl, and during the Howl, so it was just another Highly Suspect song which we couldn't stop singing. And
yeah. The Upper
Highly
Drugs
Suspect,
is the best song from MCID.
oh,
Yeah.
without a shadow of a
Yeah.
doubt. I
Without a doubt,
like
yeah.
Canals, in my opinion. I do like the riff in Canals, the kind of triplet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Canals is the most underrated one. But then you have like songs like Teddy Bear with Nothing But Thieves, and
Just
the
not them.
Gojira collab, which is just so, it's like two songs that they like cut up and glued
Yeah.
together, which is just, it's a Gojira song, and then you have like a Queens of the Stone Age ripoff. It's just
it was definitely like ambitious.
yeah,
Definitely an
sure.
ambitious album.
He was
I
pushing
just-
his boundaries.
I think what doesn't help is, Mr. Asylum and The Boy Who Died Wolf were just
They are just stunning.
the sound they had and the music, the songs they created
Yeah.
were beautiful, and
I
Johnny's
mean,
voice, and like it was all so good.
It
And
all
then it's like
worked.
it came to MCID and they almost threw that all away, and it's like,
But I have to say, with the new album, I think you should listen to it more often. Like,
I've tried. I've really tried, because
Like,
to be fair,
Fly is an
no,
underrated
no,
song.
I don't really.
16 is
16, sure,
Oh,
but
16
Fly.
is so
Good. I like
Fly?
damn. I got goosebumps every
But the
time.
thing is,
Yeah,
the thing is, that's
Fly is
still close to their rock sound. That's not one of the ones. It's the ones on that album which are like so far removed from what Highly Suspect is. If you listen to their first two
Like
albums,
Taking Off. Oh my god. Or like Freak Street.
yeah, that's absolutely true. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
tell you anything else, but there's so many songs on this album who are really good.
yeah,
But they wanted to try something new,
He wanted
definitely. And
yeah, which is to be respected.
yeah, and
Yeah, of
that's
course.
what
It's
what it is
experimentation.
about. I think if you're an independent band, you can do whatever the heck you want. And I know it's pretty hard to get into new stuff you want to do and make everyone of your fans make like it,
I
or
mean,
may like it not.
they
But
definitely did reach a new audience with the album.
Yeah, they definitely did.
yeah,
and
absolutely.
the thing is as well that, I've been seeing Johnny like posting about a new album coming soon, New High Suspect, and I'm still stoked to hear it. Like even after how
Yeah, of course.
much
I
of a
mean,
framework for me personally,
because
MCID
he's still
was, I'm still excited to see what they come out with. Like,
he's still a super talented musician, and
Exactly.
the entire band is just extremely
Like,
good.
have you heard or have you listened to the song of his other band, Ice?
oh yeah, that's a good song.
I
I
actually
was it?
think
Yeah,
think
either.
that's more. I
another
think
band.
that's more the older Highly Suspect style.
Yeah, Break
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Line
if they
is
go back to
definitely-
the old, they're like we said, like and trying a new sound can go both ways. And like for Royal Blood, for example, you have Boilermaker on the playlist. It's just, trying new sounds can really go both ways. And for Royal Blood, I think it's my favorite Royal Blood album. Well, no,
Yeah,
I know
and-
it's my favorite Royal Blood album, but
And it's not mine. So we're different
I haven't
paths
actually thought about-
again.
I've compared Royal Blood's new album to kind of music. I haven't kind of internally compared it though. I think that's really
it's
tricky.
it's such a different thing. Like Typhoons is such a, it's
Wait,
like
the
two
album or
separate
the song?
entities.
The album
This
wasn't
no,
fun.
like the album. Like
Okay.
the album Typhoons is such a different thing from what they have been doing, because if you play me a song from either their self-titled or How Did We Get So Dark, I wouldn't know what album they were from. But if you
Mm,
and then if you have a song from Typhoons, you immediately know that's that,
yeah,
because it's
I
such more
definitely
it's so
I
much
see what
more
you're saying.
disco and whatever, and um everything like that. It's such a good album.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Boilermaker, Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, fucking amazing producer. God. Yeah. Okay, let's move
I will say
on.
though, when it came out, I was like, needs more bass. I don't know. There was
Well,
just
we saw each other, didn't we, Laurie, on the day it came out?
the day it came
And
out, we went out. We had
we again, like ourselves, this is why we put Boilermaker on the playlist. Is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laurie showed me their Reading set where they played it live for I think the first time,
There you go.
and and we were obsessed with this one song. We'd skip to the same time frame every time, and we listened to the song and we were like, Jesus, it's just like
Yeah,
just
the live
so
version
good.
at Reading is still better than the album, or like the
Exactly,
studio
Exactly.
version.
1,000,000%. And that's why, because we saw each other, we were like, oh, what did you think? And we were like, well,
Meh.
it needs more oomph.
It
Like,
needs like the song, the arrangement, the riffs and the breakdown is all there. It's just, I think they'd written it before they'd fully decided on this new sound, and then the demand for Boilermaker was so high. They knew they had to have it on the album, and then they kind of felt like they had to make it fit in with the album. So rather than us getting what we thought was going to be the super driven, heavy, like riff focused Boilermaker of 2019 Reading, what we got
Yeah.
was kind of halfway in between that and their new disco sound. So still a good song, still on the
I
playlist.
think that Boilermaker, obviously not as extreme because the studio version of Boilermaker is still incredible. And
yeah,
it's
oh
still
god, I love it.
Yeah, God, yeah. I mean,
But-
let's not discredit that, but yeah.
I think that is quite a good comparison to the opposite of what we're doing. So we've
Yeah.
got Sweet Little Devil, we've got Don't Think I Will released already in the sound, which doesn't have that oomph.
It
So then
doesn't.
we're looking to bring that oomph and add that
Yeah.
what we've
We're
discovered.
gonna oompify it.
Yeah.
Whoever's doing the captions on this, enjoy the word oompify. How are you going to spell that?
Fine.
How are you
I'll
gonna spell
tell
that?
Soul. Soul does all of that. I'll tell them. I'll tell them to include this as a snippet and
Mm.
try.
I love Soul.
Good luck with that song.
Killed that Sweet Little Devil remix canvas.
Mm.
So cool. Let's move on to Psycho by Muse. I am a very, very, very big Muse fan. I have seen them
I adore
live
Muse.
as I've seen the Resistance tour when I was like 6. I saw the Second Law tour, I saw the Drones tour, and I saw the Simulation Theory tour. So I'm like a very big Muse fan. So I can
Mm.
talk about Muse for like 3 hours straight, but I won't. So okay, Psycho, Drones. Like why Psycho specifically? Like what did you think about, you both probably witnessed like when Psycho came out as a single.
I wish I could say I did, but my relationship with Muse is a bit weird.
Oh God. Do
I
elaborate.
first heard Muse when I was 5 or 6 years old, because my primary school year 1 teacher played he started every day by playing a song which he liked, and we just sit there and listen to it. His name was Mr. Green and he was a G. And yeah, one day he comes in and he plays Knights of Sidonia.
Oh, the best
and
Muse song.
That song, like 6-year-old me, I was like, whoa,
Yep.
this is amazing. Wow. Like, I loved it. But I was 6, so my music taste was awful. I didn't have one. What I do is I'd hear songs I like and just listen to them on repeat. So I listened to that. And then Second Law was the next time I heard Muse. And that as an album I listened to. And I think the songs that stood out for me on that was obviously Supremacy. That song belongs on a James Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Follow Me as well.
Yeah.
And then the Second Law, Isolated System.
Oh,
Weirdly, which
best.
super
No.
rock.
That's not weirdly. It is still my favorite album, The Second Law.
It's very cool. And then I heard Psycho when I first started to play the drums. When I first started, I did what all starting out drummers do, and I typed in songs to drum to, and it was almost top of the list. And I heard it, and I was just like, yeah, like that riff, and the it's just heavy, and it's still like a warm up song I will do to warm up before I record or before I play. It's just great, and I don't know if this is one which me and Max share a bond over as much as
Well,
any of the
I
other songs,
think
but
so. My relationship with Muse is
I love it.
quite similar, but because my parents have always sort of been into rock, which is dope because I sort of grew up listening to Muse.
Yeah.
I'd
So,
hear that around me all the time,
right.
and Red Hot Chili Peppers as well. I put a Chili Peppers song on the playlist because
Yep, the next one. Yeah.
if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be into rock. Like I grew up with them, and I'm really appreciative of that. And with Muse, I sort of always heard it around me, and I was like, "What is this like? So cool, unique sound."
Yeah.
And then Psycho and Drones, the album Drones was the first Muse album I would say I really, really paid attention to. And I really was like, okay, these guys are dope. Like I think at that point I was old enough to appreciate that sound. And then obviously I met Laurie, and we both dig Psycho, we both love it.
Yeah.
It's one of the first songs we jammed to.
Yeah, I'm like exactly the same line.
The third one we played together, the first time we ever played, me and Max, it was the third one we played. And then we played it with his brother as well at that Christmas party, and his brother played bass, and we jammed it then as well, which is cool. It's just a good song. It's just a really cool song.
Muse is also just still one of the most underrated bands of all time. Just everything about Muse, just like every single album is good.
You can always tell when it's Muse.
Yeah.
You can always tell.
Even though their sound has been so different between all of their albums. Yeah. Like especially Simulation Theory. That's because it's like a synthwave 80s situation. You can still tell that it's Muse. Mostly because it's Matt Bellamy, and Matt Bellamy is just the best man in existence. Yeah, I respect that man.
I think
and he made me play guitar. The Handler from that album was this first song I ever played on guitar, or like on electric guitar. I got an electric guitar for my birthday, and The Handler, which is still my most played song from 2016, like on Spotify. I played that song on guitar religiously because it's it's just drop D, and it's like a it's almost like a Cleopatra riff. It's like really easy, and it's just on the low D string. And
Max is a big fan of drop D.
I am.
I'm also a big fan of.
I am too. Anything drop D.
I mean, it's just it makes the guitar sound fuller, and that's basically what you want when playing guitar.
When Zig did the live from the sesh room, and Jig started playing Enter Sandman on his bass, which was in drop D, I was just like, this sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
It was so cool. Drop D makes everything.
It is true, and easy power chords. You can literally just put your finger wherever, and it's just amazing.
I could still mess it up. I could make drop D sound bad. Trust me.
Wow. Nah, drop D tuning is fucking amazing. Let's go. Well, I mean, we've talked about Red Hot Chili Peppers like a little bit, but Snow, Stadium Arcadia, and Red Hot Chili Peppers as a whole, it's just. I'm going to see them live this year for the first time. This year, next year, for the first time, and I'm very excited. I've never really gotten into Red Hot Chili Peppers much, but they've always been on the radio. I don't mind their songs. Max is a very big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan.
Yeah, I think they're amazing. I mean, it probably is just like having literally grown up with them, and because they're on all the time, and it's like how can you not like that if you sort of adjusted to that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I just think there's, again, something about them, like fleeing on the bass, and then all the other aspects of this their sound is just, it's unique, and it's awesome, and it's like, yeah, I think as a band they're just exceptional. And now Frusciante is coming back into the band.
Yes. Yeah, the concert I was going to, the festival I was going to, Pinkpop, was going to be the first show they were going to play with Frusciante back, and then it got delayed, and then it got delayed again. So it'll probably still be the first show they'll play together, and I'll see them, even though I'm not really that big of a fan. That's still something, John Frusciante is just still so high on the list of people I respect deeply. Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. Let's move on, because we've been talking for an hour already, and we've had 5, maybe 6 songs on the playlist if Lydia. Back in Black by AC/DC, a classic.
It's a classic, isn't it?
Just a
You
classic.
can't go wrong.
I think it's a classic, and I think it's actually a bit of my rock origin story, because my parents, I mean, my dad kind of likes rock, but he'd never listened to it with us. I don't know why, or maybe he did, I just don't remember. But my induction into rock music was watching School of Rock, that film. And that song specifically just was like, this is amazing. And I don't know, that song is just so, like, if you ask someone to name a rock song or even hum a rock song, I feel like Back in Black's the one they go to. And yeah, it was like Psycho, another one of the first songs which me and Max played together. I have a video somewhere on my phone of us looking like children, just kind of stood there, or in the lounge at my old house, and I have these terrible cymbals. And
I remember walking down your road with my girlfriend. We would just walk, because she lived nearby, and so I was with her, and we were walking down that road, and we literally heard Laurie down the street slamming out his drums so loud, like literally he was about 12 houses down the road, and we were like, Jesus Christ, like how are his neighbors sleeping? Like, it was crazy.
Me drumming is part of the reason. It's not the main reason, but it kind of sparked the decision to move to the house I'm in now, which in the middle of a field,
right,
with no neighbors.
Right. Yeah, I live in student housing now, primarily. Like, I'm at the home now, but I'm normally in the city. Yeah. And I live with 8 others in a hall, and I have a guitar and a pretty big amp. So I asked them when we were all together, like, do you ever hear me playing guitar? And they're like, yeah, all the time. Even the people on the other side of the hall, but they didn't mind, is what they said. But that's what never told me. But apparently I thought like the walls were thick and whatever, but that was apparently not the case, because everyone could hear me play guitar.
Thing is that guitar on its own,
but drums, drums
on their own,
right?
When I wasn't I was about to say wasn't an amazing drummer like I am an amazing drummer now. Nah. But I was not very good at that point. Like, I watched that video of me playing Back to Black, and I'm like doing this with my arm on my hi-hat, and I'm just like, relax. But yeah, I can't imagine what my neighbors went through. But no, that was a fun day. And Back in Black, it was just classic, wasn't it? It was just, this is just a rock song, and it was cool to be playing it together.
For sure, yeah.
Your origin story.
No. Origin story is on that playlist though, but it isn't quite.
We're not there yet, but
just have the word black in it.
Let's move on to 1144 by Counterfeit.
It's time to get sad. It's time to talk about Counterfeit.
Counterfeit gone, never coming back. Well, you never know. Never know.
Yeah, I hope. So my story with Counterfeit, I don't know, Max, when you started listening to them.
I knew they existed. we had a mutual friend at the time who was like, "Oh, you checked out this band?" I was like, "Sure, check them out." And sort of started listening. Wasn't a mega fan, but then I got into them a bit more. But I know Laurie's like a goodie to like.
Yeah, so I have one of my closest friends called Jasmine, and she's super cool. She loves like Disney princesses and musicals, but you put on a playlist and it's like Creeper and Counterfeit and Bring Me. So my first time hearing Counterfeit, I was like, I must have been like 14, maybe. I was 14, so it was actually 5 years ago now. And I think it was just after Together We Are Stronger had been released, or maybe just before. And I think she played me Enough and Lost Everything. And I was just like, whatever this is amazing. Because up until that point, the rock I'd heard was old rock. It was Led Zeppelin, it was Black Sabbath, AC/DC, that sort of stuff. So this was the first time I'd heard like anger, like shouting, like punk.
That's
and I was just like, this is just insane. And I listened to Together We Are Stronger, and I fell in love with the album, and I just thought it was so amazing. And then when I realized that the frontman featured in my favorite film of all time, Sweeney Todd, like Jamie Bauer was Anthony in that film, I was like, that's nuts. And then the first time I ever saw Counterfeit live, I was with my friend Jasmine, and I'll just never forget it, because Enough was obviously the first song I listened to by them, and I loved screaming out the lyrics. And at that first show, Jamie came into the pit, and then there were like 3 other people, and we were all kind of stood in a circle, and it got to the big final bit where it was like, "Let us live," and Jamie he just gave me the microphone, and I was just like, "Let us," and it probably sounded
probably an awful experience for everyone else in the room.
Yeah.
But he was living the dream, so you know.
Like sweaty forehead against sweaty forehead, holding this microphone. I was like, I love it. And I think 11:44 is because I think it was between that concert and their kind of December tour, which they did in 2019, that I realized that Max actually really loved them. And I know he went to see them at Leeds. And obviously when they were on that tour, they were playing all of their new songs off this album, which we now never get to hear. And 11:44 was like the heaviest, it was the angriest, it was just amazing. And we both agreed when it was released as a single, it was our favorite. And then that Counterfeit show that they played at Scala was mine and Max's first gig we'd been to together. So, and when that song came on, like the energy coming off of both of us, like we were feeding off of it. So I think that song, for me anyway, reminds me of that night. And like, it was like my first rock experience I'd properly shared with Max. It was just a great night. It was a great night because we both loved the band. We were out in London. We Perfect Strangers had kind of been set in motion. We hadn't written Sweet Little Devil yet, but we knew that over the next few months, we knew that 2020, we just kept saying, we're like 2020, we're going to be writing. So that concert and that song for me just kind of remind me of just before.
Yeah, that concert I think came at a really, really good time.
It did.
And like, obviously, God, that was probably like one of their last concerts they played, right?
Yeah, that was like, I think they did one show after it, and then COVID. And then
it's like we caught them at the right time, and that sort of inspired us to.
So this is really just a playlist of actual like songs that really inspired, inspired.
This playlist is like it's more than just songs which we like listening to. There is
that is what other people have done mostly, but this is like really what I truly like wanted from the whole playlist thing, because there's no better way to find out someone's story than by finding than by discussing songs that like shape them as a person, because music conveys so much of a person. Like someone's music taste is like, if people are into music, because there's also people that are not into music, but if people are into music, their music taste like really defines them as a person. And like asking someone to make a playlist of songs that inspire them and songs that really shape them is so like revealing in a good way.
And I think it's even more when it's a playlist between two people. Like, this is the first time where I was making a playlist and really thinking about not just my relationship with the songs, but my relationship with Max and Max's relationship with the song, and then my relationship through the song with, like, it was a really interesting thing to do. And I think I was just walking around Boots when we were coming up with it. I don't even know what you were doing, but I was just kind of, every time you sent one or I sent one, I was just kind of like thinking back to why that song is now on this playlist. And it was just kind of,
I think it's like, if you asked each of us to do it individually, it would have been completely different. Like we obviously have our songs which are like, oh, it's a dope song, I'll throw this one on, like, you know what I mean? But I think collaboratively and together we have a strong background and taste. And I think the music, you're right, the music we listen to and the music that we've enjoyed together and shared with each other has really defined Perfect Strangers and has influenced our sound. And I think that's cool to look back on. And I think it was cool how you've asked us to create that playlist, because that's sort of,
it was more quite more revealing to me than I thought it was going to be. Because it's the first time I think we've actually thought about that sort of stuff, and like saying it out loud.
Because that's not something. Yeah, you don't often reminisce about the past and like things that have already happened. But if you're forced to think back to why things inspire you and why things are important to you, then you can like really just go back to see, like, even relive moments that you've like forgotten about and see why it's so important to you as a person. And so that's why I came up with this idea.
Cool.
So next song, Devil Inside Me by Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. Fucking Frank Carter and Rattlesnakes, man. So why is
just
it
a
on the
whole
playlist?
lot of attitude?
So my brother actually showed me Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, and he showed me them at a time where I was, you know, I wasn't really into like shouty, screamy rock. But then I heard Frank and I was like, oh, like that's just, you know, it's just.
Yeah, he knows how to fucking scream. And he's such a nice person too.
Man.
Oh my god. He's like at concerts, he's like, oh, he already like he cares about the audience and whatever. Such a nice band.
Yeah. And then I was like, Laurie, stop what you're doing.
That was recent. That was in between two lockdowns. We were at Max's girlfriend's birthday in like June last year. Oh my god, that's almost a year ago.
Yep.
11 months ago. It does not feel like.
There we go. That's what COVID does to you.
That's I'm gonna need a second.
Yeah.
It was June last year. It was like 15th of June. It was 11 months ago. And Max was just like, Laurie, have you ever listened to this band? I was like, no. He was like, I'm gonna play something, and he played Devil Inside Me, and I was just like, ooh,
yeah.
And like since then, I just listened to all of it, and then my girlfriend, I was like, I'm now going to convert you to punk rock, and she has become a huge fan of Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes as well. And I then went and I listened to the rest of Blossom, and I was like, this is an insane album. This is amazing. Juggernaut is just something else. And then weirdly, I listened to like the first track of End of Suffering, and I listened to the first track of Modern Ruin, and I wrote them both off, and I didn't listen to them for like half a year.
Oh my god.
Like it's electronic, it's not as heavy. I don't like it. And then I heard Snake Eyes, and I heard the crazy drum break in Snake Eyes, and I was like, maybe I should give this album a second chance. And then I listened to End of Suffering.
I think for me, End of Suffering is my favorite album.
Definitely.
End of Suffering is stunning. I think Angel Wings, Love Games, Kitty Sucker. It's just some of those songs are just, and the Bleed as well. Like just Dean and Frank, and it's just raw. And yeah, I just really had an appreciation for it, and especially with their new song with My Town. I was definitely looking, because I'd seen some clips of Frank in the studio, and he was very obviously like screaming into this microphone. So I was like, I'm expecting something here. And then My Town just delivered.
And then you have like,
but it had that
Joe.
Doing the boom, 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 and I was like, this is interesting. And then it just became this huge banger. But yeah, Devil Inside Me is the first song by those guys who Max showed me, and is they're kind of, I think this artist is the one which has kind of the least story behind it. It is just a band.
It's just
that's
a
around
banger.
now, which
Yep.
just
Yeah. It's just when it just comes in, then it's just you just you just hear it
Oh
all
my
coming.
god!
that's special.
Even
The
that,
drop.
just yeah.
Like, you can hear it. You can hear it. That will be stuck in my head now. That riff.
Yeah. Let's move on to Parasite Eve by Bring Me the Horizon. Just that whole album, and why is it an album? Is it like a double EP?
It's they call it an EP, but it's, I don't know.
It's like a mixtape.
I refer to it as my album of the year for 2020.
Yeah. It's
And
definitely their best
it's mine
work.
as well. It's every song on there, even the Youngblood feature, and I don't
like Youngblood, but Obey was top of my on repeat.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I don't like. I used to like Youngblood a lot, and that's the first vinyl I ever bought was his 21st Century Liability, because that's a good album. But then he started making like weird ones, and that whole everything ever since 21st Century Liability, it just went downhill. But Obey is just he's good on a loud song. He's good on a loud song, and I still think he should make a hard rock album.
Parasite Eve was just really good. It's just a really good song. I mean, my relationship with Bring Me the Horizon is definitely they're one of the most recent artists. I only got into them in 2020. So I started listening to them when I went into lockdown. So when we first went into lockdown, I was in a bit of a dark place. I wasn't happy. And kind of I kind of listened to a few of their songs, and I just when I get down, I turn to music, and I was just like, I'm just going to find something new. I need some new music, because listening to the same songs is great, but finding something new that you love can just really shift kind of a lot. And so I think I had Happy Song, and then I just listened to That's the Spirit, and then I did Ammo, and then I went backwards and I did Sempiternal, and Sempiternal will forever be one of my top 10 albums of all time. Like, that album is just ridiculous. And obviously, in terms of drumming, I always like to look for inspiration, and just the drums, the Bring Me Horizon drums, like Matt is just a beast. And then I even went even further back, like Go to Hell for Heaven. Wait, is that the name of the album? No, it's the one with the really long title.
Yeah, it
has like Anthem and Visions on it. That album also has some bangers on it. And then when they released this new one after Ammo, they obviously went super electronic on that. And then I feel like it's with Post-Human Survival Horror, another great example of a band who like kind of found the perfect balance of their old sound and their new sound, and the fusion of that, which I just blew me away. And by the end of 2020, Bring Me the Horizon were my top artist of the year, and I was in the top 0.01% of their listeners. And that was
I think that song was definitely much more of a, this is Laurie, like you introduced me to Bring Me, and they're very much, I see that song on there as very much a Laurie driven song to be on there.
A Laurie driven,
like the Red Hot Chili Peppers one. I literally I don't know. I like Matt Smith, lots of energy. That's all
I'll let you continue, but I'll just be like 2 seconds, guys. We'll be in 2 minutes.
Bye, Max.
So I said cue to your 2020 Bring Me the Horizon experience, because the first songs I've heard were from the album Suicide Season, and that's from 2008.
Chelsea, that's the one with Chelsea Smile on it. Chelsea Smile. Yeah. That's kind of, because I can appreciate metal, but like Suicide Season was quite a lot for me to deal with in my ears. So I think Visions, perfect. That is the perfect metal for me, because it's heavy and it's fast and it's proper like yelly shouty. but there's still a really musical element to it, which I really enjoy.
So I already know this band for actually 12 years now.
Yeah, man.
12
I
years.
feel so old.
You would, okay, well, let's make you feel older and say that by the time you first listened to Bring Me the Horizon, I was 5. There you go.
I was 7.
Yeah. And there
I've
you
been
go.
13.
Existential
Yeah.
crisis.
No, I think Bring Me the Horizon definitely because this one was more me on this playlist. But since doing music production, I've obviously kind of been I'm surrounded by a lot of people who make a lot of very different music, and it's really kind of broadened my horizons in terms of what's possible when it comes to fusing genres together, which just made me appreciate it and a lot of other music more. They're live at the Royal Albert Hall. Can You Feel My Heart? Live at the Royal Albert Hall with that orchestra, with that choir, remains one of the most. And I think I tweeted it, and the tweet literally just said, "Can You Feel My Heart?" live at the Royal Albert Hall remains one of the most perfectly instrumented compositions of all time. It's insane.
It is true.
But now I'm curious, if you only got into Bring Me the Horizon last year, do you know Breaking Benjamin?
No, I can't say.
Check them out.
I've heard of them.
I've also heard of them, but I haven't listened to them.
I think Jasmine.
So since we've already been talking for 1.5 hours, I feel like we can skip Lydia because we've talked about Highly Suspect extensively and
Yeah.
Mr. Asylum, and I feel like we can bring Cleo, Ready the Prince, and Zig Mentality together into one conversation.
Mhm.
But the last song I want to talk to until I give Mads her turn to talk about songs is Devil's Kiss by Unknown Vandals. Yes.
Yeah, those guys. I put that one on there just because I wanted to support them because
Representation. Yeah.
they're just great, and they're Nate, especially me and Nate chat quite a lot, and he's just always been such a huge Perfect Strangers supporter.
Mm-hmm.
And I just figured it was the least we could do. And if you haven't listened to Devil's Kiss, you should, because it's a proper good song. And obviously this show we're playing in July, Unknown Vandals are also playing at. So there's a nice little connection there. And yeah, it was literally just to represent, the new UK rock scene, and just, we just really appreciate all the support that band's given us. There's never anything we upload or post that they don't repost or hype up.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're just legends.
Yeah, now is your chance to, actually shout them out if you want to. I mean,
are we doing shout outs? Shout out Unknown Vandals. Shout out Alicia.
Wow.
Shout out Ruben. Can we take a couple minutes to actually no? I know this is your podcast, guys, but we need to
go for it.
Appreciate Ruben, because
we need to appreciate Ruben. He's incredible. He's so talented. It's unreal. And it's he's I'm convinced he's what's the word? I'm convinced he can read our mind. Because every time we say Rubes, this is what we're looking at doing, and this is what we, this is the vibe of the song, or this is the vibe of what we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, right, got it. And we give him a week, 2 weeks. He comes back. He's like, is this what you're looking for? We're like, this is.
I'm just thinking about it. It just makes me laugh because it's just insane. And I think such a big part of Perfect Strangers in lockdown has been social media. And if you look at our social media kind of before Ruben, it's just kind of pictures, let's put them in black and white. And then enter Ruben, and it's just
collages, and
it's just beautiful. And I genuinely don't think we could have found anyone better, or anyone who kind of resonates with the ideas we have, because we don't really know how to talk about the artistic side. We just say, tell us for the lyrics. We'll send him a demo version of the song, and like a mood board or some inspiration. And yeah, as Max said, he just comes back with something which me and Max didn't even know we wanted.
And there's so many times he's like, yeah, I've kept the like contrast down, so you know this comes out better and the quality is better. We're like, cool, yeah, great.
that's yeah. But I feel like when it came to Be Someone, obviously the vibe for Be Someone is kind of this statue and museum and kind of, which is just great. I think when we came, we told him the mood and we sent him some stuff, and then he was like, "Is this what you were thinking of?" And in reality, no. Me and Max did not think, let's base it around ancient marble statues. But when we saw it, our brains were like, yes, this is exactly what we didn't know we wanted.
Yeah, and like the picture he chose as well, the main graphic, because obviously the cover's been released now. It just, you know, for me, in a position where I wrote the song, it certainly resonated with me in the meaning of the song. And it's like, I think that's just so cool. Like, how did he know? How did he know?
It's so
stunning.
Cool. I just love the font as well. Like
the bit I love is, sorry, I mean, it looks like the engraving. It was, and obviously he sent us. I feel like I don't know if this is a thing we're doing, but you know, some sneaky things.
Yeah,
he gave us a lot of options to choose from. So like he'd send us all this sort of stuff, and we'd have to choose like different versions that we liked. Like, and this was a close second, I think. Was it this one, Max?
Oh yeah.
But in the end, we just
if you're ever doing like a remix or an acoustic version, you know, you already have like a
exactly, and then this one as well.
Yeah.
It's just So
Ruben,
it's just
Ruben.
a huge part of Perfect Strangers. Perfect Strangers, obviously, we're a band. We're about music, but he has helped us become like seem and look like, as Max says, we're not professionals. We're new to this, but look at our last few posts on Instagram and
looks so
like,
cool.
This kid's 17. He's 17 in full-time education. He messages us and we're like, yeah, this is sick. Hang on, it's 4 a.m. in Singapore. Go to bed.
Like, yeah, I was in class, but now, you know, I'm just sort of doing this for you guys in class. We're like,
class, you know, maybe education and stuff.
Ridiculous, and it's just a privilege to work with him. And he's always like, thank you guys so much. And I think the amount of times we've written no, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out, Ruben. Perfect Strangers would not be the same without you.
So Ruben, if you're watching,
we're pretty far in, so I might screen record this part and send it to him so he knows it.
Probably. I feel like we're let's have a look. We started at 9:15, and it's now we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, I think.
Solid.
Yeah. So if you're still watching, fucking hats off to you. But I've looked at analytics on that website that I used for like the Spotify stuff, and you can see like a viewer retention to see how long people actually stayed on the video before clicking off, and literally like 75% of people actually listen through the whole thing. So like, which is insane to me because it's basically just music nerds talking about music for 2 hours straight, but. You know, if people enjoy it, hell yeah.
Glad.
Yeah, but okay, Mads.
Yay.
Yeah, you can do Out of the Black, Jumpsuit, and then the
Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
Okay.
Got it. Sorted.
All right. I love to see Out of the Black on here by Royal Blood. So start. Tell me.
This
Royal Blood. Where do
Royal
we
Blood,
but back all those years ago.
Out of the Black by Royal Blood is our origin story. It just is. Out of the Black was so I got my
since we first met as well. Like since we first met each other, we were like,
me and Max,
we got on. We automatically clicked, obviously, but then it's like when we started getting to know each other and we started realizing, oh, there's actually
Wait, Max, does that technically mean that the origin story isn't Out of the Black? It is in fact that fidget spinner I brought to that class.
Oh God, fidget spinners!
So
wow, you reopened the part of my brain I didn't want to have again.
Me and Max met when we were like
13?
13, 14.
13, I think.
And I brought a fidget spinner to class because we were 13, so fidget spinners were sick. And that's how Max started talking to me. But no, Out of the Black is just it's hard to put it into words. This was kind of post. We both kind of discovered that we had a mutual shared interest in rock, and in 2013, I hadn't even started playing the drums. I was kind of trying to figure out what instrument I wanted to play because I knew I didn't want to play the violin anymore. And I was like, one day I might decide to play the drums. And Max was like, and if you do that, let's start a band because I play the guitar. And I was like, yeah.
Royal Blood have done it. They're a two-piece band.
Royal Blood have done it. And then I was kind of like, who's Royal Blood? And Max was like, oh, they're this sick band. Listen to this song, Out of the Black. And it was in listening to that song that I was like, now I need to get drums. This isn't a thing I want to do anymore. This is the thing I have to do so that me and Max can be like that. And Out of the Black was the first song I learned to play on the drums, or at least that's what I tell everyone, because in actual fact, it was probably stressed out by 21 Pilots.
I mean, 21 Pilots, we'll get to them.
We'll talk about them when we talk about Jumpsuit, because there's a lot. For me, there's a lot there. But Out of the Black was the first rock song I learned, and when me and Max, for the very first time, I bought my acoustic drum kit. I moved to St Albans, where we're both local too, and the first time me and Max were ever playing together, it was the very first song we ever played as a two-piece, and at the end of that session it was the last song we played, and then the next time we played together it was the first song we played, but that time the last song we played was Sweet Little Devil. And then it's just always been our song. It just is. Like if you asked me instead of to do a playlist, and if you'd asked us separately, in fact, if you were like, you have to pick one song that kind of summarizes you and Laurie and Perfect Strangers, I know for a fact it would have been that song that we said.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing those drum covers during lockdown, and I did that cover of Out of the Black live, to have Ben Thatcher comment on it and like it and like notice it just kind of almost felt like a sign, because this song, whenever I listen to it, I think about Perfect Strangers. So for that to be, because I'd done 3 or 4 Royal Blood covers, but for that song of all the songs to be the one where the actual drummer was like there and like he saw it, that to me was just like, okay, so this is how Perfect Strangers started. This has to be a song. Like Perfect Strangers is going places because I've got his attention. What?
Yeah. And without you being humble as well, you're like, okay, I'm good. Like that's when you realize you're good.
Yeah,
you are good.
Thank
and then
you.
I think that really hit home. Like,
really good as well.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Sugarcoating each other.
Yeah, now it's just we're just gonna lean back and just watch you compliment each other for 2 hours.
I haven't seen Max in ages. I'm so excited. I was excited for this, and I'm excited for Thursday. But yeah, it is just.
Yeah, and I think after like years of talking, and then we finally got together and jammed for the first time, and that song came out, and it's like we immediately saw the chemistry of us playing together.
It just felt right. It felt right. We both knew, and to this day, like Be Someone. Oh, we're talking about Be Someone of the writing process a bit later, but I'm just gonna talk about it now. Like we learned that we didn't need to say things to know what to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but when me and Max are jamming, Max will do something and I will do drums that just work with it. And that is how Be Someone was written. It's I think the only song off the EP, which was just Max playing something, and in that moment I played something over the top, and
it just sort of came to be.
It just came to be, and I think that was born out of that first time we played Out of the Black, when we just kind of looked at each other after we finished that song, and we're just like, this is it. Like this is what we want to be doing. It's just a huge part of how we came to be where we are now, I think.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
I love it.
And then we even jammed that Iron Man outro they do, because that is banging.
Just Royal Blood live, just in general. I have
and now we
live, but I've seen
for the first time
videos aplenty.
I still need to see them.
I feel like when we see them at the O2, Out of the Black will be on the set list, and I don't know how I'm going to react when it comes on, and like I'm stood there witnessing this song live, like with Max, but I know it's going to be like something else, because it's
I might have to climb on your shoulders, mate.
Right, I want to climb on your shoulders.
I'm like half the size of you.
All right, cool. But no, it will just. I just know it's going to be. I don't know. It's going to be like an hour.
It just holds such a special place in both of our hearts, and that, you know, so witnessing that together live will be exceptional. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, Out of the Black is just a huge part in our lives, I think, basically.
All right, Jumpsuit, you said you've
Lauren,
had a little thing going on there.
I had possibly one of the most intense 21 Pilots phases ever.
I'm still in it, and people make fun of it and make fun of me for it.
But okay, Bandito Tour confetti.
Yes.
A complete diversion confetti.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional roadshow confetti, and it's But the thing is, so I discovered I was having a tough time at school, and basically I wanted to be cool. And then I heard Guns for Hands, and I went and I watched the music video, and I saw Josh, and I was like, wow, he is a cool man. And that's the day I decided I wanted to play drums. So in some weird way, if it hadn't been for 21 Pilots, I don't know whether I would have found the drums. And if I hadn't found the drums, well, safe to say, I mean, we wouldn't be here, because I'm the drummer. So
oh, you are?
just in case that slips your mind, guys, because at the moment all I've been posting about is the production, honestly. But so 21 Pilots, I don't listen to them that much anymore. I can't lie, because I'm just way more into like rock now. It's just that's basically it. But I won't ever be able to they will always be like my first favorite band, and they will always, listening to 21 Pilots they were the first band where I truly felt connected to the music, and they played such a big part in my life. Saw me through some really hard times, and end result ended up in inspiring me enough to actually go out and buy a drum kit. And Josh was self-taught, so I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. Started self-teaching myself, and the reason I chose Jumpsuit is because I was too embarrassed to put anything less rocky than that on this rock.
Right. So what would you actually have chosen?
I mean, Jumpsuit is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Right.
But I think probably Heavy Dirty Soul, or nice. Even if I was being super skeleton clicky, I probably would have put Anathema from Regional at Best.
Right.
I was gonna say
which is not on. I should say,
couldn't it?
But
wait, which one, Max?
Lane Boy, is that the name of the song?
Lane Boy was
I
one of
gonna
my
say that one.
biggest,
Oh yeah.
but
Just
Anathema,
Blurry
yeah,
Face in general.
Regional at Best isn't anywhere, but I have it. I also have like Tyler's solo album from when he was 14. So yeah, I was a huge fan. Like, there's a drawer over there. That drawer is dedicated to 21 Pilots merchandise. I don't wear it, but I'm not throwing it away. But that drawer is just t-shirts and t-shirts and t-shirts.
Okay, so question for you, Laurie.
Oh god.
From me personally, if you had to rank Trench, Blurry Face, Vessel, self-titled, Regional Best.
It'll be here all night now.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I ask every 21 Pilots fan.
Okay. I think Blurry Face, Regional at Best, Trench, Vessel, self-titled. Yeah. And similar to Max, actually way earlier, Max talking about Highly Suspect. I don't listen to them at all really at the moment, and I have to say I've like Shy Away and Choker I don't like, but weirdly I am still anticipating Scaled and Icy, because if there's one thing I've learned from listening to 21 Pilots religiously for years, is that listening to one song on their album will not tell you what every other song on their album sounds like. So I'm excited.
That was like the whole thing with Trench, like when Jumpsuit,
exactly.
and then Nico and the Niners, and then
phenomenal.
I think Clarine came out as a third single, or Levitate.
Yeah, it was Trench,
Nico,
Jumpsuit, and Nico and the Niners came out on the same day.
Yeah.
Then it was Levitate. Then it was
Chlorine, and then the album. But then the album, the whole was just. I was still doing newspapers, like paper round during the time. So I woke up at like 4:30 a.m. every day, 6 days a week, and so every Friday I had new albums that I could listen to for the first time during my newspapers, and I had to stop doing my newspapers because Trench was just so much, and it just blew me away, and I just had to stop whatever I was doing, and I had to listen to the album, and then I continued. So I was late for school and everything, but
that song's on there just because 21 Pilots have done a lot for me as a person and as a musician, and they kind of, without them and without Josh Dunn inspiring me to start the drums, I genuinely don't know if we'd be here now. So it's as simple as that, really.
Look, I can talk about them for hours as well.
Yeah, my cousin as well.
I haven't spoken about them in a long time, but I definitely could.
I also could.
As he puts all his
Yeah.
back on his shelf.
Shut up.
All right, last but definitely not least, we have Hometown by Cleo Perrick, Torn Up by Ready to Prince, and If You Ever by Sick Mentality. Start.
Give them some time.
In one sentence,
anything.
songs I could listen to exclusively for the rest of my life.
For real. It's the it's the sound that we love, and the sound that we know we could never match, but the sound that we strive to match, and the sound that is just so timeless in a modern world. That's all there is to say really about it. And to be, I don't want to say close, because I wouldn't say we are close with them, but I certainly feel close with them, me and Laurie both, and it's like to feel
closer than with other bands.
Yeah, for sure. And to feel that connection and to have them there is crazy. It's crazy.
So that's for us as well. Like, Mads and I are not a band, but as people in the community,
really?
we're actually
well,
this is. I'll let you in on something. Mads is learning drums, so we're going to start a band.
I want to get a bass.
You heard it here first. Mads and Jorg are starting a band. No, but we could. No, but being close with fans and actually like hearing them support us. Like 2 weeks ago, we talked to Jake,
Mm.
and like after we were done recording, I Jake was like, this thing that you're doing is something that like I know that this is like quoting him, that I have thought of doing for a very long time, and something I felt was necessary for so long, and blah blah blah. He was just praising us to fucking heaven for 10 minutes straight. But like hearing people who
You're
you
looking up to.
you look up to support what you're doing, and saying that things that you're doing are in their best interest, and saying that that's like that that things that you're doing are good for them and good to them, and that they support you, is such a weird but also such an ethereal feeling, that it's like that's what you said with with Steve, like saying like continue what you're doing because you remind me of me, is such a weird position to be in, that fans you look up to actually like, know you and actually like have heard your music.
For sure.
And most recently it's nuts that not only are these bands that have inspired me, that I've then looked up to, that have then known I exist, that have then commented on my songs, but in 4 days you are going to hear a song where Jig has had a hand in the actual production.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. It's like I feel close to maybe not all of them, but members of each of the bands. Like I think that the best thing that ever happened to me was when Ian Fraser followed me on Instagram. I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know what to do.
I remember that.
I was at my grandma's house. It was me and my grandma.
He freaked so out in the Instagram group chat. Wow.
I was like,
he went nuts.
I was just, and it just came through as a notification. I was at my grandma's on FaceTime to my mum, and I just I said, hang on, mum. She was talking. I just said, hang on, mum.
I think like all of them, every single one, they're just so genuine.
They are.
Like they say stuff and they genuinely mean it. And that makes it a million times more impactful and a million times like nicer to hear, like any other band I think could be like, we reach out to them like, oh, we really like this stuff. Or they're like, oh yeah, you guys are great, carry on going, sort of thing. It's nice thing to say, but it's probably not genuine. But every single one of these guys just seems so genuine. And like, what more can you ask for in a person, really?
Yeah, I sent my demos like stuff, not the stuff that I recorded drunk at 3 a.m, but the stuff that I actually recorded sober at like noon. I sent to
Sober at Noon, the follow-up LP.
Sober at Noon. Sober at Noon does sound like a very.
We may steal that off you. I apologize.
I will ask for a cut, but that's all in due time.
We make not very much from stream, so you can have your 30p a year.
But I sent my like a drive with like the demos of all the songs that are going to be on the EP that I'm releasing.
Don't say soon. You're not allowed to say
God
soon.
Knows
Everyone
when.
will hate you.
God knows.
One thing
and Steve responded a couple days later, like, this really has potential, and that kind of shit. And for someone who's primarily writing, like my primary writing source is me being drunk, that's so fucking weird to hear that I've been listening to Ready the Prince since 2018, so that's like I've been a big fan for 3 years, and to hear people from that band say that my fucking drunk writing skills are like actually have potential is, I don't know, being noticed by people look up to is just, I mean, you've had a fucking comment from Ben Thatcher. What the fuck, It's
still nuts. I think it's 3 emojis. It's 3 emojis on that cover, and he liked it. But Jamie Bauer and Counterfeit, they shared my Close to Your Chest cover as well. It's just that sort of interactivity. Kind of the bands are more than just people you look up to. They're people you look up to, and they look back at you and say, "You're great." And like
that
it's just to have that two-way relationship. Like
but
the
constant as well. Like that with that
constant.
Ben Thatcher and that, like Jamie Barron, that was like a one-time thing.
That was cool. That was cool.
But these guys, Cleo, Zig, and Ready the Prince, constant like support and constant like, it's awesome. It's like it's so cool.
Yeah, like I've had a
oh hell yeah!
And then I just went off on one. I went off on one.
It was just
like
three emojis and then a paragraph.
Man, I love you.
Like I've had a good conversation with Steve a couple of days ago, where he thanked me again for being such a huge part in the community and for being there if anything goes messy or whatever. Yeah, and like being a big part of the community as a woman, where wait, where other younger women can go to and tell what they're feeling, what their feelings are, or what they're not comfortable with. Yeah, and he thanked me for that I'm here for it, and I'm here for it for the whole way they're going still. And that's like, I don't know, it just means so much to me that I really can do something and that they're appreciating what I'm doing. It's not much.
No, but you're doing this, like running this podcast and like representing the New Rock Mafia is a huge thing, and I know that like they're all going to be like looking on and just be like, yeah, man, that's it. But I think the reason Torn Up specifically is on that playlist is we knew we wanted one of the NRM songs, and I suggested that one because it was when I did like a 15-second video on Instagram of me playing on the drums, like the big breakdown in Torn Up, and that was following that was my first ever interaction with a New Rock Mafia band, because in the space of an hour after I dropped that, Ready the Prince liked it, commented on it, and followed me on Instagram, and I was just like, because I wasn't aware that Steve was like this guy who was just so kind and caring. So this it blew my mind. And then I've just had chats with Steve, and he's just he's just kind. And he says like he was like, I see, like, I remember being your age, and like he's literally said, like, Laurie, what you and Max have, like you can like do this, you just need to keep working. He said, like, I think the words that I'll never forget is like coming from Steve, he was just like, you're doing everything right. And I just think hearing that is just there was just something so like final about that sentence.
Motivating.
Like, it was lost in conversation, but that, like, you are doing everything right. And like, that's just stuck with me because like that's coming from him. Like Ready the Prince are amazing, Zig are amazing, Cleo are amazing. So to be told that by someone from one of those bands was just such a huge driving force behind, you know, getting us to where we are now. And I sent a message to Cleopatra, and then kind of like on a different day, and realized how kind of like fanboy it sounded. And I just kind of like joking, I was just like, yeah, I apologize for that. And they were like, no, never apologize. We remember when we were sending messages like this to Nothing But Thieves and Highly Suspect. And I was like, I don't know, like, are they saying that we're in the same position they were in? Because if so, look at them now. Like, could that be the path we're on? And it's just all these little things. I don't even know if they know how much they do. But and then there's Zig, and there's Liam, and Liam is just everyone's best friend, and Quinn's just cool, and Jig is just brain. I mean, I think especially for when it comes to production, because obviously I've been doing the production, and me and Jig have had chats just about, like, I'll just reply to something, I'll be like, nice overheads, and he's like, yeah man, I love these. I was like, I was using some Coles 4038. He was like, whoa, those are some good microphones. And like, we have these chats, and he's just so full of wisdom.
Yeah.
And
Jig's
like
the podcast episode we had with Jig was one of the best conversations I've had in my life, because he
is so full. Like, when I message Zig and I see a reply with caps lock on, you know who's on the other end of the phone, and you know you're about to have a great conversation.
Oh my god, he went full on philosopher on our ass.
He is so full of, like, I would love to live a day in his shoes. The way he sees the world and the way he sees music. He doesn't just hear music, he sees it and he feels it.
Yeah.
To have conversations with him has just made me like question so many things I do when it comes to my music, and try so much new stuff. And he's kind of let me in on little Zig secrets, or like how he got a certain sound. And they're just some really crazy techniques, and he's just so inspirational in terms of production. And Zig's sound is
unmatched.
You can't, like, that, no one does it like Zig does it. And I think all of their songs are amazing, but when I heard I and I was like, oh my god. I think I messaged him and I was like, what did you do? And he playing this beautiful, like, Moog Morg, I can't remember what the brand is, sub bass, and I was like, damn, like, just the way he mixes and the way he thinks when he's approaching a mix is crazy. And you know, it's just, again, nuts that I can be like, I want to know what would be the best thing to do with this, so I'm going to message Jig. But it's not just that, it's knowing that he will message me back. Because, like, you know, if you go on my DMs and type in Joshua Dunn, I've sent loads of messages to him, but he's never replied. The difference is, with you guys, if you send them a message, they'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Like, these are people with blue ticks next to their name, and they get back to you. It's nuts to have.
We're at that stage. That's like a thing as well. With like, on the one hand, I really want, like, all of the NRM bands, like, you know, get big and get popular or whatever. But on the other hand, I'm like most scared, but I know that they will like respond less and less, and, like, you know, not have the time. Like Cleo, like, very responds. We've talked to Jig about that, because, you know, like, when Maz and I started listening to Cleo in the beginning of 2018, they responded like within 10 minutes, and now it's within like 3 business days.
And they've responded not one sentence, they've responded
you always
a real text.
And that's, you know, the more popular you get as a band, the more people
I think though, you're right, definitely. But I think what you guys have gone about creating and the community that has formed can't be forgotten. And it's like coming in as sort of, you know, to start with, I sort of felt a bit of an outsider, because Laurie was sort of in with everyone. And I didn't know these bands really, and he was like, oh Max, like, we love these bands, we love this community, these people are awesome people, whatever, so come in. I was like, sure, I'm up for it. Obviously I'm not very active on my social media and whatever, but I am around. But I think what you've created for these 3 bands, and what you've, you know, what they've given birth to, but also you guys have given birth to, is just so, it's a dream really for any band, for any group of musicians. It's, you know, anyone would want a community like that, and it's such a tight-knit, strong, awesome community.
Yeah, we've grown with them. That's like the main thing. Like,
exactly.
Like, especially,
that's the thing about the New Rock Mafia. When you say New Rock Mafia, like, if you Google New Rock Mafia, it says New Rock Mafia is formed of the 3 bands, Ready the Prince, Segmentality, and Cleopatra. But if you say to someone in the New Rock Mafia, what is the New Rock Mafia? They don't say it's 3 bands. They say it's this community surrounding, like, these 3 bands who are paving the way for everyone else and giving them a way to get into this new era of insanely emotive, passionate, driven music. But
Yeah, and I think that
Mafia isn't those bands. Those bands started the New York Mafia, but it's grown into something so huge.
yeah, and the fact that you guys have been such a big part of that is, I think, impossible to forget. So
It's
I
just
wouldn't worry about that.
it's
Oh.
just mostly like our Discord server. I made it in, I think, in March of 2018. So that's like a month after I discovered Clio. It was originally just a Clio Discord server that I had with some IRL friends, which we just, share tweets in, or because some people didn't have Twitter and stuff. And then I invited some people I saw in the Instagram comments from its posts back in, what is it, April of 2018, and then people came in, and those people were inviting people, and I think in June of that year we hit 50 members, and I was like, oh shit, this is getting big. And then the NRM formed, and I don't know who exactly, but someone in there hit me up saying like, yo, do you want to, make your Clio Discord into an NRM Discord, and we'll just promote it and whatever. And I was like, sure, dude. And then 2 days after, we hit 200 people, and we're now at
A lot.
nearly
600.
I think we're at 700 people now.
There are a lot.
There's like
I'm
700 people in that
I'm
server.
a perfect stranger.
You are a perfect stranger. Yeah. Let's have a quick peek. Yeah, we have 688 members,
It's
which
cool.
is for something that I created for my IRL friends to share tweets in. So because we just grew with them, and we're still growing. Like every time they release something, like they did like one of the Drake leaks in the Discord, in the voice chat, and like 100 people came in the span of an hour, and my notifications were just blowing up with everyone joining. It was
No, but the
insane.
thing is Clio are growing. The other two bands are growing as well, but Clio's like growing.
Yeah.
The thing is then they don't forget. It's like, let's not forget the Good Grief debut. Like, how special was it to be like one of those 20 people who was like,
There was
Yes.
20
Hey.
people.
you're listening
Hey, my
to
name is
NRM Radio."
Joy. I'm the owner of the NRM Discord, and you're listening to New York Mafia Radio.
I was like, hi, this is Laurie from London, UK, and you're listening to New York Mafia Radio.
And they were like, this is perfect. Thank you. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So stupid.
My
Let's
dad-
move
my
on to
dad's
the
a big
questions.
fan.
Cool. Let's move on to the questions. There's not a lot of questions left because a lot of them have been answered. Like Elishba, the fucking
God,
fourth
what is
time
that?
we've mentioned Elishba this episode.
This
Yeah,
girl.
Elishba messaged me beforehand saying like, "Yo, Laurie wants to bring me into the conversation as many times as possible," or something. And I was
they're
like,
like,
yeah,
"What?"
whatever.
what?
I'll
You know
just
what?
respond with I hate you or something.
I'm moving in with her in July. Every time
I feel so bad for you.
every time she does something annoying, I will be able to do
Actually,
something
like,
annoying back.
oh my god. I will
put a
text you.
mousetrap
I will
under her
text you
pillow.
whenever she does something annoying, and you can just actually like walk up to her. Amazing.
I'll put a mousetrap under her.
Yes,
I'll
amazing.
be able to do that.
Incredible. But yeah, she asked, what is the most memorable, significant moment for the band? We've discussed multiple, like, Max coming over to your house, and the jam session with the Black and whatever. Is that your most memorable, significant moment, or is that just
Yeah, like there has been loads, obviously, but
yeah?
I think one of the biggest ones was my family had a Christmas party here at my house, and my mum was like, "Oh, you'll be sick if we had some like live music," and then we were sort of like, "Oh, all right, why not?" sort of thing. So we played a few covers and whatever, and even though it was just family and friends, it was first time sort of playing together in front of people that wasn't just us, having fun in front of people, and that was dope, I think, and that really was when we were like, yeah, this is it. Yeah, there it is. that's my dining room there, all the Christmas lights.
And then I was on this I was
It
on
was
this
electric drum kit, wasn't it?
electric drum kit which kept falling to pieces, and I think this is us playing Out of the Black
There you go.
Oh shit!
on
Yeah.
the 15th of December 2017, which
Cool.
that is this December will be 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's crazy looking back now on that, how much we've grown and how far we've come.
We had no originals, no singing. That song was, they were all instrumental because like we weren't at that level yet. But yeah, so I think that's, and then I think the second one was probably I think the first time we were on Spotify, Sweet Little Devil releasing, and then also actually something which I think we should talk about a bit more but doing that Sweet Little Devil 1000 stream
Yeah,
video,
I was about to say that. Yeah, that was mental.
That was
I was
meant
like,
to get that many like people submitting them singing the words to our song.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And then it was bonkers. Like Scott from Deep Six was on it. And like it was just nuts. I was like, this is just like something cool we can do during lockdown. I was like ready for it to be 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
But in the end, it turned into this huge, like 16 odd people. And we had people from all over the world as well. It was nuts.
It was so cool.
Those are definitely, I think, top 3.
Oh yeah. Next question also has been answered from me. I submitted a question saying, what's it like making music during COVID? But we've gone into that a lot now.
Yeah.
In one word, weird and wrong, but also totally right.
That's
one
Perfect
word.
Stranger is as
That's way more.
We've also answered Mads' question. What inspired the both of you to start a band, make music? Now, Mads, you can do the next one because we've not answered that one because it's not a question.
I would put it on the end, but
okay. You can do the next one then.
Ben wants to know, whose best first tone do you like better, Luke's or Jigs?
Jigs. Jigs.
I'm gonna say Luke's.
Oh shit!
Oh!
Very interesting. I think I prefer Jigs because I don't know. I feel it. I feel it. I think it was BMF 20, and like I love Cleopatra, but BMF 20 and the bass sound in that, and I as well, the BMF at the end of that song. No, it's illegal. It's illegal levels of. And I listen to it through my huge monitors as well, and I just really feel it. But the thing is, in the bridge of the Drake, when that bass properly kicked in, yeah, it's close. It is.
That's
close.
also like partly Jig's bass tone. Of
it is. He did, exactly.
Yeah, but we talked to Jig about it, and he said like that he was doing as little influence as possible. He was really just laid back, and he was like, okay, you guys do whatever, and I'll just be here and just turn some knobs and whatever. So the correct still is
Perfect Stranger's new bass tone.
Yeah,
which we now have.
There we go. Max's bass tone is the best bass tone.
Max's bass tone is the best. And you will hear it on Be Someone, and you will see how we achieved it on the behind the scenes video, which I don't know.
Shit, this is something that we know that no one else. Well, is it something that you have announced?
Well, we've said I've put a teaser on the Instagram story of me standing on a pedal and going ah. But yeah, it took I think I had about 3 hours footage, and I managed to condense it into like 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a fun video to make. It was a fun video to watch back.
And everyone has watched it by the time this has come out, probably because this is like 4 weeks.
I hope everyone has. If you haven't,
watch it now.
Watch it.
There you go.
There we go. Another, and listen to Be Someone, of course, if you haven't already. I mean, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Max's guitar solo it's like if angels had kids.
How
All
cheesy
right,
can
we're
you
gonna
be?
go.
Yeah, next
Next question.
question.
Let's
We're gonna
move
go
on.
jump
Next question.
to James' question.
Yeah.
Will there be sub bass on the EP?
Sub bass.
Yeah.
Yes. There's sub bass on Be Someone. Not an electronic sub bass like on I, but I'm a big fan of sub bass because it's kind of like a secret bass that you can only unlock if you have the right listening device.
Right.
Like if you listen through your phone, you will literally get no sub bass, but put it on big speakers, it's like, hello. So
Yeah.
what I do is I use a mixture of equalization and a plugin called Waves Renaissance Bass. And I put it on Max's bassline and I set it at like 50 hertz. Sub bass is anything below 60. I set it at like 50 and I just cranked it up and it just kind of sits there, but you won't notice it unless you've got like headphones on or like big speakers. But yes, there is a lot of sub bass, and in one song on the EP called Chaos is a friend of mine. There is I have plans.
Releasing names now. All right.
Oh, censor that. I totally forgot about that. Oops.
So
You're not allowed to repeat that. I feel like censored. Wait, Max, should
well,
that
if
be
you've
censored?
made it this far at this
It's all
point, we've
good.
been going for more than 2
It's all good,
hours.
it's fine. But I mean, we're quite far in. So do you know what? If someone has watched it to this point, they deserve that.
Yeah,
But I have
2 hours.
I have plans for quite a big fat heavy sub coming in at certain points in that song in my head, which I can't wait to tell Max about and show him on
This
Thursday.
is
I
also
just
new
have-
to Max.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll go with
All
it.
right,
Yeah,
I'm rolling with
that's
it.
fine.
It's coming up to the point where we're recording on Thursday and I'm thinking like, how am I going to make the most of it? What do I want to try? And like Max is obviously, if Max says he wants to try something, we'll try it. But like we both bring things we want to try. We have the songs written, but a big thing of what we like is like if we're in the studio and Max suddenly like is like, I think it'd sound good with this. I just play it, record it in. Yeah, the answer is yes. There'll be sub bass on the EP.
that was really went off topic, sorry. Shout out James though. What a legend.
Yeah.
Shout out James. And James, if you're still watching this, we are so sorry you can't come to the Rocksteady show in July. 18 plus, and he's only 17, which is
That's sad.
Very
Yeah.
painful.
All
Also,
right.
Bloop that song name. Bleep it. I feel so bad. Bleep it.
Don't believe it, it's fine. That's
That's
nice little.
Max is yeah. That,
Last
that's-
question. That's actually not a question from D Hunter. Not a question, just guess for the E EP.
Oh, okay. So Daniel Hunter Reith. Obviously, I met him at the start of this year when I went into my second semester of music uni, and he was in my new class, and he is an insanely talented musician. He is so clever, and I've had the privilege of hearing songs from 2 EPs he's working on, and I've actually been recording engineer for quite a few of them on his drums and vocals and stuff. And whenever I've been in the studio recording drums, obviously I can't be on the desk and on the drums, so he's been on the desk. Obviously he did the remix of Sweet Little Devil, which was just really cool. But yeah, he was on the desk for all the drums for the EP and Be Someone, which is why he's down as recording engineer. He's super talented. He's super good.
Again, he's a cool guy. Genuine, nice lad. Like, what is there not to like?
Yeah, he's just the most likable man ever, and he will hopefully be dropping by this Thursday as well.
Hell yeah.
He's only heard the drums for the EP. He was like, Laurie, do you have a guide track, which is like just something for me to play along to in terms of guitar? And I said no, and that boggled his mind. He was like, how are you going to play with no guide track? I was like, some of these songs have been written on the drums for over a year. Like, I know these songs. So he's only heard the drums. So yeah, I'm glad you're excited, Daniel. It's going to be lit. And if you haven't listened to Daniel Hunter Reith's remix of our song Sweet Little Devil, go and do that. And also check out his Spotify. He did a project called Matador Mike, and you should go and listen to his album Angry No Sad Maybe as well, because it's really good. My favorite song is Stevie's Got a Model Family. There we go. Daniel Hunter, read shout out.
We've done so many plugs.
Yeah.
That was it for the questions. So we were ready to round off. We've had everything. We've done everything. So if you have something else to say as like a final remark, now's your chance.
Oh God.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
on
thank
it.
you
This
for
is sick.
being here. Oh my
Like,
god.
this is-
Thank you for
Yeah, this
joining.
was-
Yeah.
This is the first thing we've done as like a interview band kind of.
Cool. I'm glad we could do it with you as well.
It's Perfect Strangers up to this point has just been a me and Max thing, and now it's cool. We've got a
Now it's
different
an
people
everyone thing.
contributing and this sort of
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for having us, and
It's been a pleasure. It's been
stream.
there's been stream be someone. Yes. That's the most important thing. You know, after you're done watching, which is probably in like a
subscribe
minute,
and
you
like
should
and listen to the
Like,
next podcast. And
smash that like button,
Hit that notification
the
bell.
bell, so you never miss an upload. This is true. We upload every 2 weeks, so you will probably forget we exist by the time the next episode comes out. So ring that notification bell, so you're like, oh shit, yeah, those people exist. Yeah, exactly. So do
I
that.
want to
That's
think of something
important.
funny to say. Mark, though.
Well,
I don't know. I'm not a funny person.
no, it's funny is also not in my vocabulary, so it's fine. You know, it's fine. So yeah, thank you.
Wait,
So
hang
guys,
on. Sorry.
yeah. Oh, you've got something funny.
No, not something funny. But what will it be after June the 4th when this releases?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Stream Bummer, Cleopatra's debut album.
Hell
Run
yeah.
it up.
We
Yeah, just
plan.
run it
We're
up.
planning something, but
we
we're not
have
sure.
something in the works which is not out yet and not like set in stone, but there's something coming.
So did we until I blurted out a song title 10 minutes
So
ago. We
fingers crossed that we can.
Yeah, there is
make it
something
work.
on the horizon that might happen anytime soon.
Well, you know what, Yorick? Bring me the horizon.
Okay. I will bring the
Nice.
horizon
Nice.
to all of you.
Bring it to me.
Otherwise, if we don't get to
Do what we were planning to
record-
do.
Yeah,
Just have what I just said and post it. Just
we'll
stream
drop
Bummer.
your episode on the 4th of
Yeah,
June.
otherwise this episode will come out on the 4th of June. Otherwise, the
No,
thing will be on the
anyways, stream Bummer.
4th. Yeah, stream bummer and nonetheless.
Stream Bummer. Thank
Right.
you for having us, but frankly, stream Cleopatra.
No, don't undermine
but-
yourself.
no.
Stream be someone first and then bummer after.
Yeah, that's a good compromise. But yeah,
Look,
for real,
Bummer is
thank you
an
guys for
album.
having us.
Be someone is a single, so
Oh.
you can play Be Someone 7 times and then listen to Bummer. There's like a
Got it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
there we go. There we go. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
thank you guys so much
yeah.
for joining.
Fun.
And thank all of you watching and for being with us for more than 2 hours,
Mm.
having on about 21 Pilots.
Oh,
So Laurie will go. It'll set him off again. Stop it. No.
don't. We need to stop.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got to
We'll
go
see
and
you
listen to,
all.
like visions to bring me back to metal.
Right. We will see
See you
all you
next
guys
time.
in
Bye.
hopefully in 2 weeks. Yeah, goodbye.
Bye, guys.